One by one the kingdoms fall. They looked upon this isle and took it all. Harbingers of pain. Edmund the Martyr cut down by a Dane on the orders of Ivor the Boneless. Barbarian.
Alright, so Barbarian by The Darkness. I think most people are aware of The Darkness's first album, Permission to Land, full of classic tracks. If you haven't listened to any Darkness recently, I suggest giving this one a listen. Last of Our Kind, it came out in 2015 I think, and it's just got heaps and heaps of great riffs on it, great songs to learn. So I learnt this song by ear and I thought I would give you a little lesson on it, provide you with a cover, followed by a lesson of it. And hey, if you're watching this video, you may as well hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any videos. I upload multiple videos each week, these cover/lesson type things. Give the video a like, comment what's your favourite Darkness song. Are there any Darkness songs that you would like me to teach? Feel free to leave them down in the comments. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the lesson. So I've got my trusty Les Paul here. We're on the bridge pickup and we're in standard tuning. So it starts on the 7th fret on the low E string. We just hit it once and we slide down, okay? I slide to roughly the 3rd fret here, the G note, but you can go to wherever it feels comfortable, and after a while you'll get a feel for it anyway. So, and then after that, it's followed by 3 open E strings like this. Pretty simple. All right, the second time around, do the same thing, we slide, but this time instead of 3, we just hit the 2. And then we grab this A sharp and give it a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of vibrato, or a little bit of stink as Justin Hawkins calls it. So from the top we've got slide, 1, 2, 3, and we grab that note, give it a bit of a wiggle, okay, then we play it again, and then we slide up to the 7th, and we hit that twice, then we go to the 9th, back to the 7th, back to the 9th, and we slide up to the 10th. Alright, so I'll show you from the top what that looks like. So that's what you should have so far, okay? Play it once more really slow so you can see it. So that's the first section there. Then we come up to this bit here, where you're hitting the open E and the A string fretted at the 11th fret. I use my ring finger to do that, but whatever's comfortable for you, whatever works for you, you can use. Kind of reminds me of Cherub Rock. It's got that thing, both the notes ring out. It's pretty cool. So you hit that note. I use my middle finger to do that, and then 3 of these with the open string, followed by 2. Then we come up to here to the A. So index finger on the low E string at the 7th fret. And the barring, I like to use 2 fingers, sometimes I just use my pinky, whatever works for you, doing a power chord there. Now originally when I played this, I played it like this. So the B, A sharp A, G to the E power chord, okay? But I saw on YouTube, there's actually an interview with Dan Hawkins from The Darkness, and he covers a few of the riffs from this album, and Barbarian's one of them, and he actually shows that that's the wrong way to play it, which is the way I'd always played it, that there's actually the way he plays it, which is the correct way. So I'll show you the incorrect way and then the correct way, and who knows, you might prefer the incorrect way anyway. So this is the incorrect way. Okay, what he's doing is he does the same thing on the B, but when he comes to this A flat or A sharp, he's hammering on the chord. So this is the correct way. That's how he plays it. So I'll leave a link to that interview in the description so you can go have a look, and he talks about a few of the other riffs on there. I think Mudslide and Roaring Waters, which are fantastic songs, so give them a listen as well. And maybe you can learn them by ear, just like I did. So after we've done that bit, we finish on that E. Now because The Darkness has 2 guitars, one guitar for the next bit just lets the E chord ring out, while the other one's just palm muting, so putting their palm against the bridge there and just chugging away. Okay, I like to sort of combine the 2 because I'm just playing by myself. So I hit it open and then I chug it, and then you do a quick G power chord, so middle finger, 3rd fret on the low E, ring finger, 3rd fret B, pinky finger, 3rd fret E string. And then you go back to that E power chord, followed by a bit more chugging. Now, when I'm listening to it, it doesn't sound like they're doing the full chord, they're just sort of hitting the top part of it. And then going back to that E. After that bit, we come down, we do some double stops. So we come down to the 5th fret, we mute the low E and the A, and we're barring across the 5th fret on the D, G and B, just like that. We do 5 of those before we go up to the 4th fret, back to the 5th, and then down to the 7th. And you give that a bit of wiggle, bit of vibrato. So that altogether sounds like this. Slowly. And then you go back up to this E power chord, followed by the G. That same thing as before. Now when I do it, you don't have to do this, but this is something I do. I sort of play up here and slide down, kind of like the main riff at the start, just to get back to that E power chord. You don't have to do that, but that's what I like to do anyway. So you do that twice through, and then you play the same thing, except this time instead of going to the E power chord, you go to an A power chord, and you let that ring. So that's mute the low E string, A string open, 2nd fret barring the D and G string, so you let that ring. Then you come back to this double stop that we were using before on the 5th fret, the same one. It's really quick, it's really choppy, then you go straight back to the A chord and you let it ring. So let that ring for a little bit, and then you slide all the way down here to 10th fret, still using those double stops, and we hit that a few times. And then to the 12th, back to the A, go all the way back again, and then we're back to the main riff back at the start. Okay, this one. Okay, and you'll do that through a few times, and then the only bit that differs is just before it comes to the solo, you go through this main riff again. He slows down and he lets that E power chord ring out. So open E string, barring the 2nd fret on the A and D. And he lets that ring out. And then he comes up to this metal sort of chord, I guess you'd call it. So it's that A sharp, but you just put your bar across the low E at the 1st fret, and you get that F note in there, and it gives it that sort of metal sound. Which I was listening to an interview with Justin Hawkins, the lead guitarist of The Darkness, and he spoke about a lot of bands tune their guitars down to sound heavier, but you can hear it across a lot of their songs. They use this type of chord just to give that heavy sound because they're in standard tuning and they want to sound a bit heavier. They use this one all across. You can use it all across the fretboard. So anyway, they do that back from the E power chord back to this one, and they just keep going back and forward for that. Then when the solo kicks in, it goes back to that main riff just underneath the solo, and then at the end of the song he sort of sits on this metal chord. There's a lot of soloing and stuff going on, drums, crazy fills and all that sort of stuff, and it's just going back between the E, and then right at the end it just finishes with just that A flat power chord, just like that, and it finishes. So that's how you play Barbarian. Okay, as I mentioned before, this is a fantastic album. Go give it a listen. There's at least 4 or 5 great riffs that I think if you're into hard rock or anything like that, you should know because they're fantastic. So that's how you play Barbarian. It's not the end of the lesson though. I need you to do one thing for me. I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be uploading lessons and covers multiple times a week, so make sure you don't miss out on those. Give the video a like, comment down below what's your favourite Darkness song. Are there any Darkness songs you would like me to give lessons on? Are there any songs in general that you'd like me to give lessons on? Feel free to let me know. You can also just comment on how awesome you think the channel is. That would be great too. Other than that, it's Tunosaurus Rex out, and I'll see you in the next video. Catch ya.